had implants in your cheeks.
Oh, God.
You've had a dimple made in your chin.
Please,
You've had your lips enlarged.
Oh, please.
You've had your eyelids
It's
reconstructed. Eyelids reconstructed.
It's stupid.
None of
Come
it's
on,
true.
None of it's true. None of
I told you guys they love to put the truth right in your face. I want you to look at the Paramount logo and see if this rings any bells for you. And God made the firmament, which is a solid glass dome that God created. He made the stars also, and God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. The stars in the firmament. They love to put the truth right in your face, guys. This has been known by all the ancient religions and civilizations. And remember, according to Luke 12 verse 3, therefore whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light, and that which ye have spoken in the ear in the closets shall be proclaimed upon the housetops. So whatever they speak about in secret, they have to shout it from the rooftops. And they have their ways of shouting it from the rooftops. It's not the first time. There are hidden subliminal messages everywhere. You just gotta look for them.
Did you know the first time we went to the moon, they packed a golf club and a golf ball? See this? Don't you think that's weird? I think it's weird. They had to pack all these survival things in this tiny little rocket ship, and limited space, limited fuel source, and they're going to pack a golf club and a golf ball to go to a planet that they've never been to before, in an environment they have no clue about, and supposedly it gets 250 degrees Fahrenheit and negative 200 on the moon. Knowing this, they still packed a golf club and a golf ball to play golf on the moon. Don't you think that's weird?
The 7 planets are not physical objects, and I am going to show you what NASA shows us versus what a real camera, a Nikon P900, the most powerful zoom camera in the world, shows us. Now here is NASA's CGI version of Saturn, and here's what Saturn really looks like. Now these planets are luminaries. They are the only wandering stars in the sky. And when you point a camera at the North Star, the stars around it always do perfect circles 365 days of the year. The constellations also align in the exact same spot every 365 days, which clearly means we are absolutely not doing this, not hurtling through space at millions of miles per hour and orbiting the sun and spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. How would we see the same constellations align in the exact same spot every 365 days? Not possible. Now look at this. This is the planet Venus, or a wandering luminary. It's just a light in the firmament traced in the night sky over an 8-year period. This is the pattern it creates every 8 years. This is not possible on the model that NASA is telling you. This is a divine creation. This is what our planets really look like, not this fake CGI nonsense. The Earth is a stationary realm with the stars fixated within the firmament. The stars are moving. We are stationary, just like the Bible told us, just like the Quran told us, and just like all of our ancient ancestors try to tell us. And here's your NASA CGI blue marble Photoshop image. Time to wake up. Peace and love.
So I'm at work. You see this freaking sun right here? I'm finna show you how smart you are not. See that sun right there? But look at the moon right there too. How is the moon in space? I can only see half of the moon. But the sun is supposed to be shining on the moon, reflecting it back to me. But I only see half of the moon, when in reality, we can only see one side of the moon. Well, why I'm not seeing the whole moon right now if the sun is out with it? Something ain't right, people. Need y'all to wake up. It's 2024. Y'all ain't seen the deception yet on the grand scale. Man, if all the water froze in the earth, 70% of water be flat and level everywhere you see it. Flat and level water can't curve around the sphere, people, let alone fly off through space. It just can't happen.
Now, I can't count how many times I've read in the comments, the Earth's not flat, and quite emphatically like that. So let's get into the biblical evidence supporting the flat Earth theory. And where's the best place to start? In the beginning. In Genesis 1, here are the 3 key scriptures I want you to remember. Verse 1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, we can't get into the flatness of the earth without first talking about the structure. In Genesis 1, he will tell you the elements that he has created. In verse 1, we're only talking about the heavens, which is plural. There's more than one heavens, which in the other parts of my series, you'll notice that one of the heavens is what we know as the sky, and the earth. And in other parts of Genesis, you'll notice he does not talk about galaxies, other planets, or anything like that. Now, I'll expound more later, but these details are very crucial as we progress. Moving on, key scripture number 2. We're going to put verses 6 and 7 together, so just don't do the math because it won't be mathing, but just know that. Okay, continue on verse 6. Then God said, let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters. 7. God made the expanse and separated the waters which were below the expanse from the waters which were above the expanse, and it was so. So what could this expanse be? First, let's define it. An expanse, the distance to which something expands or can be expanded. Okay, that makes sense. You might think that this expanse is God creating land, but it's not. This is the creation of what we know as our atmosphere or the sky. Now, let's go back to verse 7 because there was some talk in there about waters. God made the expanse and separated the waters which were above from the waters which were below. In other words, God is stretching out the sky in the midst of waters, and he is separating from the top from the bottom. Well, what could that possibly look like? Let me show you. It's an air bubble. But there's more. Let's group 9 and 10 together to make our 3rd key verse. I told you about this map. Okay, verse 9. Then God said, let the waters below the heavens, he's defining the expanse, be gathered into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. Verse 10, God called the dry land earth. Now, as we just read, God calls this land earth. Now, when you hear the word land, what comes to mind? Most would say a flat, dry surface, and you would be correct. So, without using the current imagery that we know of today, given the description in those key verses, what would this inhabitant look like? Okay, so this is a good place to start. We have the 2 more episodes after this that are going to get into the weeds of more of the flatness, so don't get excited. There's still more to come. Okay, we're back. Welcome to Biblical Flat Earth Proof Part 2. Without hesitation, let's jump right in and see what the Old Testament has to say. Isaiah 66:1 says, thus saith the Lord, the heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Okay, so if you remember in part 1, we saw the plural of heavens, and here in this verse, we're noticing that where God is seated is in the other heaven. The first heaven is the sky, our atmosphere, and the second one is where his throne is, the ultimate heavenly heaven. And where does he rest his feet? On earth, his footstool. And what does a footstool look like? Like this. A round, flat surface. Yes, while this is only imagery, this is still a precise example of the description of what earth looks like. For instance, he could have chose to say something like this. Earth is the ball that I hold in my right hand. But he doesn't. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, but that's the Old Testament. It doesn't count. Well, let's go to the New Testament. In Matthew 5:34, Jesus speaks and says, but I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne, nor by the earth, for it is his footstool. Do not be mistaken, because if there's one thing that we know about God, he uses words that are accurate, wise, and consistent. So we can already stop the argument in saying, oh, he didn't mean it like that. Yes, he did. So therefore, maybe it is our understanding that is inaccurate. But let's check out one more just for good measure. For this, we go back to the book of Isaiah, this time in 40:22, where he says, it is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers. Second thought, it is he that stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in. Woo, another mouthful, but let's break it down. Part A says, it is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth. Some are probably thinking, ha, that's the globe. And that's a no, because the Godhead is very consistent, and he just told us and gave us a description of a footstool. So what does he mean? For this, we go to my trusty euro. So this is a circle, and when you're in heaven, high in your throne, and you lay it down flat, ta-da. And part D says, he stretcheth out the heaven like a curtain, which is a dome. And how do we know that? Because part E says, and spreads them out as a tent to dwell in. We are in a tent. We are under the dome. We are in something, right? Again, no reference to globe, no reference to sphere. He doesn't say anything about them dwelling around the heavens, being wrapped around, nothing, in, over. Precision. Okay, third and final, 4 verses, rapid fire, let's go. Isaiah 11:12, and he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the 4 corners of the earth. Do globes have corners? No. Okay, next verse, Job 26:10. He has inscribed a circle on the surface of the waters at the boundary of light and darkness. But what does that mean? It means he's marking out the boundaries of the sun, the moon, and the waters within a circle. We're on a roll. Third verse, let's go. Okay, Job 37:3 says, under the whole heaven he lets it loose, and his lightning to the ends of the earth. It being his voice, the rest self-explanatory. Under. Okay, fourth and final verse. Here's the key to proving the firmament is real. Okay, if you're familiar with Job, in Job 37:18, this is the challenge to Job. This is what God says. Hast thou with him spread out the sky, which is strong as a molten looking glass? What? Okay, let's listen to it in English. He says, can you with him spread out the skies strong as a molten mirror? Okay, so here he's speaking about himself, but the important part is that what we're under is strong like a molten mirror or a looking glass.
I know Earth is a spinning ball in space because I know math, physics, and chemistry.
Good morning, aloha from Florida. So I'm going to call this little talk Flat Earth Masters. And the play on the word masters are all those people that are coming forth with master's degrees in different subjects, finding out, learning, teaching, and now promoting the fact that the earth is flat and stationary. The earth, if we could get far enough away from it, up into the sky, it would look something like this. The Gleason's map. And for the globe trolls or the shills that want to say, oh, that's a projection of a globe. Do you know who Gleason was? Do you know the title of the book that he authored? Do you know that he promoted Flat Earth? The creator of this map is a flat earther, or was a flat earther. He was alive 100 years ago. The bottom of this map here and here talks about the movement of the sun and the moon over the surface of our flat and stationary earth. This is not a globe projection. But anyway, many people, and what sparked this video today is that 2 comments recently on a couple of my videos. One of them was to the pilot Glober friend of mine, the open message to him. Someone commented on there that he has a master's degree in STEM, S-T-E-M, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And he was talking about how construction all uses levels and plumbs, and the levels and plumbs only work on a flat and stationary earth. So somebody, and he said he also has a master's degree in STEM with honors from an Ivy League school. So for you sad, pathetic globe trolls and page shills still trying to promote the delusional globe religion, you're in trouble. Because more and more very smart, very educated people are questioning things and overcoming the indoctrination narrative of the earth being a spinning wet rock in outer space. And the more educated people who are able to communicate clearly, like Eddie Alencar of the Flat Earth Banjo channel, the author of 16 Emergency Landings, or Ben from the Taboo Conspiracy channel, who also, both of these guys have master's degrees. So, flat earth masters. Think about it, globe trolls, paid shills, people who are very educated and very smart and have the ability to communicate clearly with true knowledge, are now promoting flat earth more and more and more. So the globe is a dying religion. One day, one of the biggest jokes in humanity will be that people used to believe the earth was a spinning wet rock in outer space. The earth is flat and stationary. It is an intelligently designed, enclosed electrical, topographical, stationary plane. Oh, also, David Weiss just put up the mechanical realm on his main channel, so it's much easier to find for some of you. David has a much larger following than Vika does online or on YouTube anyway, but you can still watch it on Vika Draziv, Truth in Plain Sight, or you can also now go to Flat Earth Sun Moon Zodiac Clock app and see the mechanical realm, a device from history that shows that everything up there in the sky moves in perfect patterns, cycles, repeating cycles over the surface of a flat and stationary earth based on the knowledge, the information of this little piece of hardware called the Antikythera mechanism. And someone, the Sumerians or the Babylonians, had the knowledge, the software to put into this hardware of the Antikythera mechanism, replicating what we see in the sky over us. It's a death blow for the globe religion. Have a great day. God bless.
96. It's a big boy. So I got two big guests, big names, big bodies.
Huge.
Yeah, I don't even know if I introduce you to. You got Rampage the Legend Jackson here. You got Bradley. Meet me at 260. Martin.
How much you weigh right now?
Why people care if people believe in the earth the way the Bible describes it? Why do people get so mad about that?
Does the Bible describe it as flat?
Yeah.
It does?
With the dome, the firmament, and everything.
Oh, that's news to me.
That's new. You never read the Bible?
No.
That's the problem.
That is a problem.
So
why
why
go to hell?
So why do people get mad at people if they just describe the earth the way the oldest history book describes it?
Yeah. So does this mean you think it's flat?
Yep.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
But what were you gonna say about?
This is what changed me when I looked into emergency landings. Something simple as that. That's what changed me to go more to like, oh yeah. Then I went to the Bible and started reading with the Bible. You know, I used to be a Christian, so I was like, oh, I've read this stuff before, but you don't. We think of it different. I went there. Now I look at the Old Testament like a history book, and so I went and read it and like a history book. I was like, oh, okay, it broke everything down for me. But if you look into whenever you have time, just look into emergency landings.
What do you mean by emergency landing?
Like when say somebody's flying from Asia coming to LA,
yeah,
and like if it's an emergency or something, and then see like the way they land, and then you gonna think like, wow, that's not an emergency land. They went all the way out the way, and then you got to break down why did they do that? Why they go all the way out the way, and they say it's an emergency landing. That's what changed my mind.
Why would they go all the way?
Exactly. That's his point.
Exactly.
But why would that prove that the earth is flat if you go out of the way?
Because if it was an emergency, a real emergency, wouldn't you go somewhere closer?
When you go somewhere closer?
And not somewhere out of the way?
When we see the emergency landing on the globe, it don't make sense.
Oh, because it's like this.
Yeah, so it's like farther away.
Yeah.
So common sense would tell me that we're being lied to about the geography of our things.
Why lie to us about the earth being round, though?
That's the big question.
The flat earth map dates back over 1,000 years. This map is credited to being created by a Persian astronomer. His name was Al-Biruni, and he lived between 973 AD to 1048 AD. It's the official map of the United Nations and also the United States Geological Survey. It used to be present in many places before the creation of NASA and the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Here you see it with Admiral Byrd. This map has been restored by Dmitry from Russia with suggestions of mine, Eddie Alenkar. Known by my YouTube channel Flat Earth Banjo, I asked Dmitry to include the Bermuda Triangle and Point Nemo, a place deep in the Pacific where NASA buries rockets. Then Robert Tozzi, a professional mapmaker, came along and enhanced the map even more. There are many people now selling this map online, but if you could order it from my online store, I would greatly appreciate it. Visit my online store now and order one of the items. I humbly thank you.